I'm going to make some code to trigger this. How do I do that? Under Assets, I'm going to right click in the Assets and click on Create C# script. And I'm going to call this script Submit Email List Building. Now you can name it any way you'd like, but as long as it's something that has to do with email list building, that's great. All right. Now what I'm going to do is take this and put it inside of my button, this button right here. I'm going to right click and put it under my button Submit. All right. And I'm going to drop it here. Now if I click on my button Submit, I see that in the inspector on the right side, I can see the script. It's right there. Submit email list building. So make sure you add the script this way. So here it is. Now just gonna double click on the submit email list building script, which will open it in MonoDevelop, and I'm gonna be able to edit the script. Right now the script doesn't do anything, but what I want to do is actually create some kind of an action, right? The action to be able to submit the form. All right, so after the update, I'm gonna go ahead and type private. So that's a private IEnumerator. Okay, you might be wondering why I'm doing an IEnumerator. That's because I want to create something that can be run in the background. Okay, and I'm gonna say send to MailChimp, which basically is the action of sending it to MailChimp. Now this is not doing anything yet, but that's okay. All right, and as you can see, it doesn't see the IEnumerator because I made a mistake. It's enumerator. There we go. Okay, let me zoom in so that you guys can see better. All right, and I'm just going to create a second action, and this action is going to be public. Why? Because I want the button to be able to click on this. So public void pressed send to MailChimp button. All right, so I'm creating a method that is for the button to send to MailChimp. All right, and this method will basically call the code of send to MailChimp. All right, and in order to be able to call the code in the background so that it doesn't stop your app from playing, you can call a coroutine. So that will run the code in the background. So start coroutine, and the routine name will be send to MailChimp, the one right above, send to MailChimp. All right. Okay. Now let's take care of the send to MailChimp function. I'm going to press enter inside of the private function, and I'm going to say what this will do. First of all, we need to create a form. So in Unity, you can just create the form by creating a www form, but I want to create it all the way up top as a public form so that it's available through the whole file. Okay, so just gonna do public and call this one www form, and I'm gonna call it form, FORM. That's it. Now I can use it. Going back to the method, I'm gonna say form is equal to new www form. Okay, so we're just instantiating the form. Now next I want to add the fields to the form. So form dot add field, and the fields are the fields that I found earlier. So if I go back to TextEdit, I want to use these fields, okay, the merge 0, merge 1, and merge 2. So I want the email address, the first name, and the last name. Right now I'm just going to enter them manually just for the sake of testing. So I'm going to do add field, and the first field will be merge 0, and which is the email address. And I'm going to say merge 0, and the email would be, let's say, I'm going to call this one johan305@gmail.com. All right, and then I'm going to do the first name, form.add field, and I'm going to say merge 1 now would be Johan, and then the merge 2, form.add field, merge 2, and the name would be my last name, TAIEB. I'm just going to put appsfresh.com. All right. now that I have these three fields, I need to be able to know that this is using my MailChimp account. And to do that, I need the username and ID. So the U and ID. You guys remember? We have them here, U and ID. We took them earlier. So this is my U. I'm just going to right click and copy. And go back to the code and just add this form.add field. And that's called U. And the value is, I'm just going to paste it here. And then the last one is form.add field. And the last field is the ID. Now I don't know it by heart, so I'm going to have to take a look at it. And the ID is this one right here. Right click, copy. Right, and then paste it here. All right. Okay, so I'm almost done. Now that I have all the information necessary to capture this email address, I'm gonna need to send the actual form, and I need to find the URL, or what's the address that I'm gonna post this to. So www, and I'm gonna call it w is equal to new www, and then I need to say what is the address that I want to send this to, so the URL. And remember earlier I told you to take it. The URL is right here. That's mine right here. Okay, so this is my URL. Now you probably have yours, so go check yours. And by the way, you need the whole thing with the post. Okay, so make sure you copy that with the post. All right. Going back to MonoDevelop, just gonna paste it here. Command V to paste it, and then close the quote, and then say what I want to send. I want to send the form, so just type form. All right, and put a semicolon at the end, and that's it. Now I'm ready to send the form. Now, once I'm finished, I'm just going to do yield return W. What does this mean? It means that it's running in the background with the yield. It's for the coroutine. Okay, so any coroutine has the yield at the end of it. All right, and then I'm going to put an if statement. So if to know, just to check if it got sent or not. So if string dot is null or empty, I'm going to test the response. Okay, so what's coming back? W dot error. So if basically there's no error, that's what I'm asking here. If there is no error, then what do? I just say I can just print no error. Now, by the way, I'm printing to the actual console, but you don't have to do that. This is an extra step that I'm doing just for the sake of it. Else, so if there is an error, I'm going to print what the error is so that we know what happened. Okay, so actually, so here is that if the error is empty, then we do have an error. Here, so we have an error. And here we don't have an error. So we would say print form submitted successfully. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to save this. File save. And I'm going back to Unity.